Hello and welcome to the PMQ live update for today, Tuesday, May 19th. I am here once again with my good friend and pizza operator, Lenny Rago of Panino's Pizza in Chicago. Lenny, say hello to the world.
Hello, world.
Well, we are all very glad that you have survived.
Getting Brian. Hello, everyone out there. Hope everybody's staying safe. Today's May 19th, Tuesday. I'm with Panino's Pizzerias in Chicago, 3 locations, and member of the U.S. Pizza team. And take it away, Brian.
Well, that's everything we need to know. I was just saying that we're all glad you survived. People might recognize you from a previous live chat that we've done maybe a month ago, something like that. But I wanted to kind of circle back and talk with you again, kind of follow up with you because after we had chatted, you had just decided to close one of your locations. You have 2 partners. You got 3 locations in the Chicagoland area, and you chose specifically to close your location due to safety concerns from your employees and stuff like that. So why don't you kind of tell us what that was about and maybe how that you came to that decision?
Oh, so briefly, back in April 1st, we decided to, we had a meeting at work and a lot of them felt uncomfortable about being open. So, just kind of listened to them and my family as well, my son, my wife. And, I have a disabled child at home, so not disabled, but a girl with a disability. And it just felt like it was just not proper to bring that home to her. And we didn't know how to really work with the COVID, how to prepare ourselves and what to do. And, it was just getting really hectic over there in the town that we were in. So we just decided to take a break.
All right. So there was kind of some familial concerns and just some concern from your employees.
Yeah.
Was that echoed through the other 2 locations? Because I know there's you're in Evanston. You've got one Lakeside or Wrigleyville, kind of downtown, and then one in Park Ridge. Did they have those concerns in those locations?
They weren't as concerned as my employees were. So they smaller units. I have a larger unit. So, I kind of talked to the employees and I said, hey, I will apply for the PPP and hopefully we will get it. And, I assured them that I would take care of them through the time we were closed. And so I didn't get the PPP until I think it was like early May 1st, maybe like April 29th, whatever. So the whole month of April, I shut down and I paid them. They were paid for the 4 weeks that we were done. So they got paid regardless if I got the PP or not. So I kind of assured them, stay home. I saved for a rainy day and I used that money to pay them. So they were all happy. They got to stay home. They got to be with their families. They did come in a couple of times. We got to reset the store and, do a deep clean. No, none of us got sick. So, it wasn't the issue. Nobody was any symptoms or anything like that. But I was able to regroup and do a couple things that we weren't able to do while we were open.
Well, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about, kind of coming back around, because you were closed pretty much for the month of April. We opened again in May, so you've been going for a little while. And it sounds like you didn't even get the PPP until after you had almost reopened, but you stuck to your guns, you stuck with it, kept applying, following up. And we're actually going to hopefully be joined a little bit later in about 10 minutes by Mike Rasmussen, who you've worked closely with as far as, him kind of walking you through and giving the ins and outs of what you need to do. But the main thing is that you made the conscious decision to shut down. You listened to your employees and they kind of felt that they weren't safe. So there was a decision you made and now you've opened up. Did you have any problem like retaining your employees? Did you lose any in the transition? Or, like you said, pretty much most of them were paid throughout, regardless of you even having PPP. Was there kind of a concern on that of getting your employees back?
Not really. I'm paying them, so they're staying home to be, to stay with their families and be safe. But, I do have a dining room at that location. So we have 3 servers and I do have, we're not open for lunch. So I have a girl that works in the lunch hour. So she was, she's at home with her baby daughter and she wanted to, she quit before she even put this in. She said the day before, she said, listen, I'm going to have to just step down and, for my daughter's sake and for my grandparents who I live with, that I just don't want to, they're elderly and I want to bring it home to them. So I'm just going to, resign from the store. Thank you for the years, blah, blah, blah. Why not? And then the other server, Gwen, she, takes care of a childhood friend of mine's parents who have Alzheimer's and are elderly.
Okay.
So, she was able to collect unemployment, and she went on unemployment, and she's been taking care of them. She goes there once a week and, makes meals for them and stuff like that. So she didn't come back right away. And, and the other one, Bailey, she's, she's a teacher, so she has income coming in through the end of the year. So, and she's willing to come back. But I brought the other server back, and she's helping on the counter, and I brought all my counter people back, and, we would use them all, give them, hours here and there. And, we're actually pretty good staff right now as far as, full, to retain the PPPs, to retain the amount of employees that you started with back in the day. So we've been able to retain pretty much most of them, even though I did fill out the application wrong because I didn't understand full-time employees versus, part-time. So I put down, I have 18 employees on my payroll on every biweekly. So I should have put 12 because a lot of them are part-timers, but I guess I'm going to have to work that out with them.
Well, and that's another thing that maybe Mike can help us with later. And I do want to encourage everybody. We've got a bunch of people tuned in right now. Thank you guys for joining us. Billy Monzo, we appreciate your support there. He says, great job, guys. And Mary Grivas, she says, Lenny. So, but I do.
Mary's a good friend and she's single. So I'm not just kidding, Mary.
But there you go. So now we're turning this into a dating platform.
No.
There we go.
What's up, Billy? So Brian.
Dungeon Chat experts too. So I want to encourage anybody who has questions for Lenny and possibly Mike later on to ask them here in the Facebook comments. We'll get to them. But I mean, I think that's something that you can maybe help these guys with if they're getting to having to start reopening and stuff like that, making sure that they've filled out their applications for PPP correct if there's still something left. But I mean, I wanted to ask because you made that decision, and I think it was probably the right decision. You kind of felt the pulse of your staff. You weighed your family concerns and stuff like that. Did you have a plan to reopen before you closed? Or did you just kind of make that decision, well, we have to close now, and then during the hiatus kind of developed a plan to reopen?
I had no plan, Brian. No plan. I just said, you know what? I actually said to myself, and I was just telling people around me, it's like, how strong is my business? Going there during the times that we're closed, obviously everybody else was home, but I'm going there, I'm doing my work and going to clean up. I cleaned my office and went in there and doing paperwork and getting stuff ready. The phone wouldn't ring and I'd be like, wow, normally the phone rings here like crazy, during the day or at night and nothing. But again, I did have a message on hold on there. So I wasn't sure if the message on hold was taking over and nobody's there, but nobody would walk up to the door. And I'm like, oh my God, here I go. I planned on opening up May 1st. And I decided to change that as a couple of weeks went by. And I said, you know what, May 1st is a Friday. And in the pizza business, you don't do anything on Fridays. You don't mess with your computers on Friday. You don't do, mess with your staff on Friday. You just let it be because Fridays can get pretty hectic. So I decided to open up that week up. So I opened up the Tuesday on the 27th. I received the PPP on the 29th. So it worked out just perfect for me. But I did not have a plan. But during that time, I said, I want to see how strong my business really is and see how loyal the customers are and, what kind of customer base I had. So I went deep into my POS, which I use Speedline, and I extracted every customer out of there. And I learned how to do it. I've never done it before. In the 20 years that I used the system, I've never gone to my database. I've never had to, we're pretty fortunate to have a successful business without really marketing our database. And, trust me, I do my mailers, but I mail in just, different sections of the towns and it works just great, and I'm targeting people that are not customers and customers. But this time I decided to target just my customers that have patronized Panino's in Evanston. And then I extracted, I have online ordering, and that's one of the things I did while we were out was I was rebuilding my online ordering platform to eliminate the third-party companies. And I'm this close from eliminating them. Actually, I'm probably about 90% eliminating them. I launched it last week. It works through Speedline, and Chris Clark from Speedline's been great. He actually flew out to Chicago and he helped me with it, and we got to set it up, and it works with my POS, and it's super, super easy. And I'm able to market it. And I think the first day we launched it on a Tuesday, I think we have 46 orders that just on online. So that's how much people missed it. And then, I created a email blast and let everybody know that we were reopening. And that was very successful. I got a lot of good comments, just Facebook posts and going through the city and the villages and the Chamber of Commerce and, the local papers. And then I created this postcard that said, hey, we're reopening April 28th. We're back with no contact pickup and delivery. I offered a couple specials on the back, $5 off, $10 off. And this went out to approximately 15,000 homes, I believe, that I had in my database that were good addresses. And the first week we went crazy. And I didn't know what to expect. And it went really well. I think, Gino came over to help me out the first week, and it was crazy. It was like Friday every day for the first week, which is great. It was probably the most amount of sales we've had at Panino in the short period of time, temporary hours that we were open.
All right. Well, I mean, it sounds great. Like you came back with gangbusters. They were waiting for it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people were upset that, they had to close. I did want to welcome Mike Rasmussen here. He was able to make it in here. As far as I've heard, he's been very much a integral part in, you getting set up for online, not for online, but for PPP and stuff like that. Why don't you guys kind of just talk about that a little bit? I don't know if I can get under my face, but
I don't know where you get that from, Brian, because every time I talk to him, he's out bike riding, cutting the grass. I don't know what he's doing something other than answering the phone or his email. No, but Mike has been great. So I actually met Mike on this platform, and I emailed him and I talked to him, and it's been really a good match for, between me, my CPA, and him. We've been able to discuss different portions of the PPP on how my banks versus, his banks and his knowledge and my accountant's knowledge. And I applied with, I'm not going to say Jason and PayPal and stuff like that. And we were just having discussions. And, I pretty much did it on my own, but with Michael's guidance, because I had a lot of questions on what to do and what not to do. And Michael's set up a great website for those out there that, have any questions regarding employee retention, PPP. I didn't even know what the hell employee retention was until Michael explained it to me, but now I understand it. And if you guys need a CPA and you don't have one, Michael's your man.
Well, and I'm putting this up here real quick, Mike, is that, yes, we definitely, mycovidcpa.com is a platform that Mike built. And Mike, why don't you just go ahead and talk about it real quick? I'd hate to have you here and not say a word. So
I'm going to talk to, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm
going to tell you, Lenny has been, he can shut his ears right now, but extremely proactive. And so it's kudos to him that really jumped in, didn't wait for an advisor. He introduced me to a CPA, but I mean, we all did it as a team. This thing just changes every day. Now we have the formal rules out there, but Lenny's been, it's just like you don't sit around. And sometimes it's like he would just make decisions and we'll deal with it in the end. But the bottom line is he had to serve the customer. So that's probably the biggest message to everybody. Just you got to do something. It's better to ask for forgiveness and permission sometimes. And he's just out making it happen. And yes, he does. He calls me, I'll get off my bike and go, okay, Lenny, what do we need now? My whiny employee wouldn't come to work. Okay.
We just moved the camera too. That was an emphatic pound right there. So, I mean, Lenny, what was the biggest problem that you were having as far as trying to figure out what you should do having closed down, or maybe let's just say even opening back up? Because like you said, before you even got the PPP, your employees were still staying home and you had them covered. They were guaranteed, their pay. What was the biggest thing that Mike kind of walked you through in the reopening process?
So again, going back to the earning, what's it called, Mike? The earning retention.
Employee retention.
employee retention, which is, you get up to $5,000 an employee, and it lasts till December 31st. So his comp, that right there, when he taught me that versus the PPP, I knew that I was going to get either or, but I was going to go for the PPP. And if I did not get the PPP, I was going to do the earning retention program, which works out almost, better. It's forgiven from the beginning to the end. You don't have to prove anything. And that gave me some confidence that, hey, I'm going to stay closed until I, feel comfortable going back. And, I did land the PPP, so I didn't do the earning retention thing. But yeah, that was the confidence booster I needed, because, even at one point, Michael just said, just take the take the earning retention, forget the PPP. And I'd be like, well, I don't know, not this far. I'm just going to hold off. And if I don't get it, then, first thing they say no to me, then boom, I'm going to apply for that. I already had set it up with ADP. I called ADP up and I set up the columns for each one, PPP and for the earning retention. If I had to do the payroll one way or another, I was able to do it either way. And Michael just, instructed me to keep great records. And that's what I do. I keep great records. So I make sure everything is, I have a spreadsheet that I created with my CPA. The 75% gives me the amount. I put my payroll in there, and then I have my rent and my utilities in the other one. And then, I had questions, whether you're going to use utilities, what you can use it for. And Mike instructed me, it don't matter what you use it for. I use it for all rent. So I didn't pay my April rent because I didn't have the money, because I was going to pay my employees before that. So I took the money, and then I paid it in May when I got the PPP. So I paid 2 months in May. So right there's, part of my 25%. And I'm going to do it for the next month too. So most of my 25% will be just pay rent, and then whatever's left over I'll throw towards utilities. Right, Mike? Is that right?
That's the way it works.
Well, and I did want to give Mike the platform here real quick, because we usually do a catch up every Thursday with him. And tomorrow I have a webinar that's with prevention. It's going to be a lot of good stuff there, but I can't be in two places at once yet. But Mike, why don't you kind of talk about what you're going to be, because you have a daily webinar yourself, where they can go and they can register at www.cpastraighttalk.com, and that's a free webinar. What are you going to be kind of catching everybody on from this last week's developments? What's the next big thing on the horizon?
Well, Friday night, the SBA came out with 11 pages of the rules of how to work us on forgiveness, and how to go through the calculation. So most people, just like Lenny, are keeping track of it on Excel spreadsheets. And I drove to Atlanta last night. I actually interviewed, I was on a radio show, and then I also got permission with some programmers to build how to actually keep track of it and then place it in a storage facility so that we can then take it into the lender and basically go, forgive me. So it's literally all I'm doing right now to, every day is to make that process easy. So that's literally every day right now is how to calculate it, how to keep your records. And then I'm just working as much as I can to get this thing built. So.
No, absolutely. I wanted to ask you one thing real quick. What was the best question that Lenny asked you? The one that, I don't know, just the best question he asked you that let you know that he was super serious about this and why you stuck with him?
I'll give persistence. I mean, it was just like, where you at? I need an answer now. and which is what I've been telling you on the show is don't sit back and wait for your advisor. Take initiative and be persistent. I've loved it. He's asked some great stuff. I have to hang up and go, okay, I don't even know that one again. So I got to go look it up, which is great. So.
Yeah, he's been really, I've asked him some questions where he had to get back to me the next day. And, I just didn't want to sit back and wait for, I kind of put it like this. When everybody was going to go, oh, we're going to get the PPP. You got to have the 941s. You got to have this. Everybody gathered all this shit all this stuff up and started, making photocopies of all their water bills and stuff like that. You didn't even need that stuff. So I'm like, we went through all that trouble to get all that stuff ready and didn't even ask for it. So I just started that's when I just said, you know what, I'm starting to do my own research and I'm going to just learn about this myself because I want to be totally prepared because, we have a lot of money coming through the restaurant and I want to make sure that it's going towards the people that need it, which are my employees. And I did use it for my employees and I'm using it for my employees. So, unfortunate there's some people out there that are not doing it that way, but.
Yeah, and that's a topic for another day. I want to get through all the keep the positive vibes going before we can look back on this and say, what? But trust me, I'm keeping notes. But Mike, I mean, definitely we do appreciate it. And Mike has all the resources you're going to need at mycovidcpa.com. It's a step-by-step process on how to, if you have yet to apply, how to apply, and then actually what's going to be coming next. And also, reach out at www.cpastraighttalk.com and register for that webinar. It's free. It's daily. It's at 3 p.m. Central. So, Mike, I appreciate you can stick around, or, I don't know if you got a bike ride or a dog to walk.
No, I got to get ready for the show. I got to go answer a question for Lenny.
Yeah. Well, we're going to try to get also that.
Michael,
trying to get off here so Lenny can get into that show as well. So Thank you so much, Mike. I do appreciate it.
All right, guys. Be good.
So, I was really, I'm happy he was able to jump in, but I did have a couple other questions for you though. I like that postcard that you put out there. Very visual, and it's, it says, it says, reopening. I wanted to ask, cause it kind of answered a lot of the other questions that I did have though, is that, did you have did you have a date in mind when you shut down that you were going to reopen, or is that another thing? Like you said, you had no plans. So is that something
we were going to close for the month, obviously. So we were going to open up on May 1st. And then as we got closer and closer, I had the employees in, we cleaned and we got ready, and we did, I was pretty much working on all this stuff, PPP and all this stuff, getting all the marketing done and creating the new website. I actually got a new website coming out too. So it's just been a long process of getting all that lined up. And then I worked with Mailwise Solutions. If anybody's not using Mailwise Solutions, Bill Holt is great. He helped me create this postcard. You give him the database, he cleans it up for you, and then he hits it. It comes with a price. Everything comes with a price. It's got to make money. But man, we got tons of these back. Like the reply and the usage of these coupons, which I thought, I want to take coupons because everything's going so high. And I was just like, you know what? At this point in time, I'm going to put it out there because I want to make sure I can, open up with a customer base, because I had every employee on for the whole week. That whole week, nobody took a day off. Nobody took cut hours. Everybody on like a Friday night. And thank God I did. And it worked out well. And so the postcard thing worked well, and then the email thing too. So I started a constant contact thing. I've done that years ago with the email, but I was able to extract all the emails out and clean that up. And that worked out really well.
But even when you closed, you didn't have another plan for reopening, but you always had that date in mind. It was May 1st, and you had to readjust it. Again, like you said, it was a Friday, so we'll do the week of. I was going to say, how did you decide that date? But you just kind of chose, let's do a month, give it a month.
Right, because I didn't want to open on a Friday, and then we could open up on Tuesday, and it gives us time to reopen and prep, slowly as we get into it. And then, with the launch of my new online ordering, and I didn't want it to be like on a Friday and then just all chaos broke loose. Even though that Friday all chaos broke loose because of one reason, and I learned to correct it within the first week, was we used a third-party service called Slice, which one of the, $2 an order, whatever it is. They were calling up and tying up my phone lines because the amount of calls coming in, and then they have to, confirm the order. So they started calling my lines and tying up my lines. So now people are waiting, for 10, 15 minutes on the hold, or they can't get through. They're calling my other stores and blah blah blah. So the next week I decided to call them up and I said, can we figure out a better way of confirming these orders? And they said, yeah, we can do it through email. And then I gave them my cell number and they would call it through there. So the next Friday, like a breeze, and nothing happened. But that first Friday we did, there's 70 tickets coming in an hour, 70, 80 tickets coming in an hour. And it gets kind of challenging to make those tickets, because those tickets are not just, ordinary, orders like during your normal operations, because now you have everybody at home, the whole family's there. So everybody's ordering. people can't go out, so they're not going out dining out. People are not on vacation. People are not at family parties. They're all home. So you're getting an influx of orders, and it's gonna go back to normal eventually, but it makes wait times very long. And
right. Well, and I think most people are understanding of that at this point. I'm hoping, and if they're not, then they're the jerks, and we're always going to have a few. But they still deserve pizza too. We'll get it to them. They just got to calm down a little bit. I do want to.
Not the pizza that getting us. It was the cook line, because we're a scratch kitchen. We make chicken prosciutto and all that from scratch, and they're ordering dinners and a pizza. And this, so those take time, and by a skilled employee, it's just not a minimum wage employee is going to make that dish. So when the people would come pick it up, we had to social distance them, and we had 110 pickups that night, which was double the amount or more than what we normally do on a pickup, because a lot of people are dining in or they're So we had a line down to the dollar store 6 feet apart, which is pretty far if you've ever been to the store. And I was just like, we got to fix that. And then we figured out that half the people waiting down at the end of the line had pickups in the store, and they were all just piling up. So we learned from the first day.
Okay. Well, it's just about that, evolving and adapting, man. That's another one that I'm always saying, evolve and adapt. So you learn from your mistakes, and hopefully you let the customers know that. I was kind of leading up to a point of when did you start changing the message? Because I remember talking with you last time, you said that, you were having to let your people know online that, hey, we're going to be closing. And then how soon after, granted you had that date in your mind of when you were going to reopen, how important is it to pivot from that we're closing to that our reopening date message? Change the message from a negative, we're closing, to positive, look for this date reopening. I mean, do you think that had a lot to do with it? The anticipation, why you got such an influx on that first day?
Yeah, because, obviously there's social media sites that get created in your town, and they were talking about it. Hey, anybody hear about Panino's? And I wasn't even a part of that social site. So people that knew me would just text me, go, hey, you guys, you're getting talked about here. So I would go out and tell them. And then, I have Message on Hold, which I use. Message on Hold is the name of the company. But my first 30 seconds before they even get into my store is upselling them or telling them something about the store. So I would use that as my advantage. So even when we were closed, that message said, hey, thanks for patronizing Panino's. At this time, we're closed due to COVID-19. We will reopen with, when we feel it's more, comfortable to open up. And then I would change that every time. And I would do that like every couple of weeks. I would change it. And then as we got the opening date of the 27th, then I had them change it to, hey, we're opening this time, blah, 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 this day. And then between that, the email blast and the postcards to the database, and then social media sites, local newspapers that helped out. And then we created signs like real estate signs and just drew them all over our complex there, now that we're open. And I was amazed by the support by the community, how much they missed us from being there. And it just felt good that all these years that you put in this hard work and time and, to make a great product. And, we're not always the best. We make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, and we have long wait times, and we're not always 100%. And if there isn't, we always try to make good on it. And so it was great that they all came back. And I didn't know what to expect, because this is like opening up a new restaurant. You close for a month is a long time.
Yeah.
And
it's a long time to get forgotten.
Yeah.
Almost
forgotten. So,
well, I mean, I kind of wanted to touch on that too, because like you said, that there was always that support from the locals and the regulars. Was there any kind of concerted effort made to? I know you had mentioned that you just took your database and you focused on your existing customers. You use them as, for lack of a better term, targeted them with your marketing. Was there a concerted effort or any kind of plan to try to maybe gain new customers out of this? I don't know. Did you think that maybe you would lose some of your existing customers and you had to supplement that with a new market?
Well, so again, that's not the only marketing I do. So I do have other avenues of marketing out there. So I have my menus that go out, 3,000 to 4,000 a week, the different parts of the neighborhoods that we delivered to. So those were still going out. I never stopped that. So those were hitting the markets that people don't use it. So we did have a lot of new customers from it too as well. So, people move. I even got one at my house. That's pretty funny. My house. The other stores got it because they do business, and my friends that order from me that get catering, that don't even live near the store, we're getting them. So it's funny.
Oh, what? So you're saying that it's going into the other two locations? How do Gino and Bruno think? What do they think about that? Do you guys honor them at the other locations?
No, because every store has their own marketing strategy.
Right. Okay.
So, one of them is pretty common. It's a common one, but the other coupon I did, because of the size of the orders that were coming in, I said, hey, let's help those people out, that are ordering over $50.
Yeah.
And, we're taking a hit, obviously. Pork is up, ground beef is up, pepperoni is up, everything's up. The price of doing business, I know I see a lot of these right now, not to change the subject, but a lot of people putting COVID surcharges on their bills, and out here in this it's a lot of controversy. And you got to let people know about it before you do it. But, if I have to raise prices every week, that means I have to print new menus, and I can see where they're going at it. But, surcharges on there, and, I don't know. We're taking the hit right now between all the stuff that we have to do. I've even learned I've hired a company called Enviromaster, and they're spraying with electromagnetic static guns. So it's a product called, what's it called? It's a disinfectant that are used in planes and hospitals. And they come in once a week by me at all three stores. And I'm going to put a video out because I videotaped it. And they spray this disinfectant, and it heats up and it lands on the surfaces. And it's 99% effective. And it works on the COVID. EPA passed it. So I took it a step further, and I went on Vital Oxide. That's the name. Because I have a friend, one of my really good friends, is part of a cleaning company out. They do nationwide cleaning, and he told me about it. So I bought Vital Oxide. You could go online and buy it. I went to the Menards. I grabbed a sprayer for paint. I put that in there. I adjusted the air on my compressor, and I do it another 2 times a week on my own. I take all the delivery bags. I shoot the insides, the outsides of them. We're doing everything in our power to stay safe.
Was it food safe? I know it's
food safe, yes.
Past FDA, but okay.
Yeah, it's not. You're not going to directly spray it on the food, but
for food surface context.
Right. So spray all the tables, all the handles, the bathrooms, anywhere they touch the soap dispensers, the cooler handles, the door handles inside and out, pizza door handles, and I do it like clockwork. I do it like on Sunday night when I close. Before I leave, I take 15 minutes out of my day and I just spray everything down. And then they come in and do a real thorough spraying, once a week, which I did order that electrostatic gun. So I'm going to be doing it all on my own eventually.
Right. You're just adding that extra layer of protection in the interim, but you have the professionals do it for sure.
Right. Because, you have, different vendors coming in and out. So I decided to just, like I said, I'm not going to wait around. I just started looking into doing things on my own. And
well, there you go. It's that attitude that even Michael's just talking about. Be proactive. Don't sit on your ass and wait for somebody. And yes, I said ass. Don't sit down. Get it done. Well, I did want to tell people, we're probably getting ready to wrap up here. I got a couple more questions for Lenny here, but you can ask your comments or you can ask your questions in the comment section and Lenny will answer them. We've been talking about, his decision to shut down and how it was to reopen. He got a great reception at reopen, but what kind of marketing he had to do. I did want to ask you though, it sounded like you were saying one of those coupons or one of the deals that you made on your postcard or whatever was something for like orders of $50 or more. Have you seen that since you reopened? Have you seen that the average ticket sale has gone up? Because people are kind of amassing at their house and they're just trying to get a bunch of food versus a quick casual dinner.
Yeah, 10 for 55. So if you order 55, you get 10 off, which I think is a really good offer.
So have you seen a large percentage of orders over $55 versus when you decided
55 to 150? normal big orders. I mean, we have a large, extensive menu, so and when it comes to paninos, you can satisfy every kid in that family. One wants a burger, one wants pasta, one wants a salad, one wants a beef sandwich, one wants a pizza, one wants a calzone. We have it all, So we see the orders just click up, and we're a dying breed, Brian. Most pizza places are less like a Papa John's. They do pizza, salads, and wings. I mean, that's your average pizza.
There's some variation of that. I will give you guys this, that yes,
like us.
You got your menu is like a Tolkien novel. It's big, and you.
It's a very. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't do what we did. I would stick to the model that works, and they're successful for a reason. Domino's, and they have it down. But I'm into this, and I'm going to end with it. So. But you guys are successful at this too, so you found a way to make it work. So. Yeah, it's just challenging, because like I said, everybody can get away with hiring a minimum wage employee to work their pizza line, not ours. Well, I think I asked you this last time too, is that during this, because you do have such an extensive menu, did you guys cut anything off the menu? I think you said no. You kept everything through this whole thing. You haven't cut anything off the menu? Nope. And that's got to be hard, especially with a lot of anymore like shortages or, just like you said, the rising prices and COVID taxes, more or less. What I did do, though, while we were off, I decided to put plexiglass up on my counters and then cut a hole in the bottom. So they can come up now. Before we were just bringing everything outside, sticking on a table, and it was just getting a hassle. And Lamarcus making smart ass comments. It says Lemrocos. I don't know who this guy is, but I don't like him already. Is he a wine bottle? Oh. Yeah, a whiny bottle. Michael P. Lamarca, a whiny bottle. I get it. Oh, let's not have him interrupt us the one time that he watches out of the 3 weeks that he's here. But anyway. We call him out like that. But we love you, Mikey. We love you. We started letting customers in that were masked. We had I worked with a local brewery that created a sanitizer. So I purchased some sanitizer from him. I got masks for everybody, and then they come in, and then we started increasing our gelato and making gelato because Brian, that's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. Absolutely. And so now they come in and they're able to buy impulse items like gelato, and we're going through a lot of gelato, and which is good. So having them come back in the stores helped out, and it helped on flow of the restaurant, because now you don't have to sit there and bring out open outside. And so that was one of the things we changed while we were closed too, is how we were going to do it, because you just can't come to our spot without walking through this entrance, which is very high traffic, and it just was getting really dangerous. And someone said something to me about it, and they're like, "Hey, someone's going to get hurt." So I said, "Yeah, you know what? Let's just let people park and walk in," and that's what we did. Well, yeah, and I was going to ask you, what kind of changes as far as like the regulations, if you guys are, if Illinois is making you guys wear masks and gloves. But I mean, you just answered that too. I wanted to say, what's kind of this whole topic has really been about the reopening, that, you decided to close for a good reason. But always with the plan of reopening. What is the best tip you can give for somebody who's already decided to close and hasn't reopened yet? Maybe the hardest thing that you had to do, or, just the best tip you can give it to somebody who's in the same situation just a couple of weeks behind you. Know your customer and how to extract them. And I mean, hopefully, I know most of us today, we all have POS systems. Learn how to use your POS system. Is probably the number one advice I can give you. And if you do have third-party companies, negotiate with these people. I see a lot of stuff going on the internet right now. We get hit 30%, 15%. Guys, we use Grubhub, and I'm going to eliminate them because that's just my goal. And that's why I'm creating my own. But they only charge us 15%. I don't know where everybody gets these 30, 35%. That's when you use their drivers. Yes, you're going to get hit with that, because there is a price for having delivery service. I mean, I have to pay my guys, right? So I have to insure them, and I have to have non-owned auto insurance, and I have to, take care of my liability is going to be higher. So I don't know what that equates to. And Mr. Lamarca was supposed to be watching, was supposed to answer that question for me. What percentage do you think it is to have our own driver versus using a Grubhub driver? And I bet you it's anywhere between that 10 to 15% range of what it costs you to have your own driver. So I'm not sold on people getting ripped off. Yes, they're excessively charging you because they're in business to make money, and I'm not sticking up for Grubhub or anything like that, but you need to renegotiate with them and say, this is what I want to pay. And then they should break it down. And then they hit you with this advertising or charge of $250. You had to click on that button because I get that email all the time. You have to click on it in order to have it, unless they're making you do it if you're using their drivers, commission, whatever, driver commission, extra stuff like that. But I posted in one of my statements from my Chicago store. We did 777 orders in April, and I think the revenue was 30-some thousand, and they charged me 26 something. So I paid like 3,000-4,000. The average, I did the math, it was 15%. And I don't offer any coupons or discounts on that site, and I don't blow my prices up or anything. So,
well, and I like what you said about trying to. I don't want to say you said you want to eliminate them. Let's say wean ourselves off of the necessity to use third parties. What are the better avenues that we could do on our own? And I did shoot off Lamarca a link to see if he could join in and maybe answer that question live, put him on the spot. But but you only had, was that just like the average cost? It was only 15%, because I thought it was like a 30% flat rate. But is that only if you use their drivers? Do you get them to send you orders?
We have our own drivers.
Okay.
We facilitate. They're just doing the marketing for me. So if I had to spend to create this piece costs money, right? To market it, to do anything. So they're doing it for you. So if I'm paying 50%, I don't think that's a lot of money for me to pay to have them do my marketing. Yes, they do hijack your sites if you're not using them. That's number one thing. Like DoorDash does with me all the time. They try to hijack and then send people in. I don't even take the orders, and I get people get pissed off at me. And I'm like, you know what? I don't need that. But, I don't feel it's that high of a price to pay to have someone, do the work for you. They got to manage your online ordering. They got to market for you. They got to accept the credit cards. They're responsible for any of the fees that get, people dispute. I think it's a win-win if they can stick to that platform, but you got to have your own drivers. So it's not designed for if I were to use them and make 30-35%, I wouldn't do it. No way. Right now, 15% is manageable, and it's only a portion of my business, like very small portion of it. So, but I want to wean it out as well, because I've created my own and I'm going to market my own. I spend a lot of money on my website redesign. So I don't want to have to deal with that, because every time I got to make a price change, I got to go call them. Now I make a price change in my POS, it syncs up with my online ordering. So just different things that I'm going to do where it's going to make it easy for me to manage my business.
Well, and it sounds like, not to, as a magazine that works for vendors and distributors, such as third online ordering and third parties, it sounds like they maybe just have to come down. They were kind of exorbitant to begin with. I don't want to say exorbitant. People didn't like the 30%. At this point, people really don't want to pay it. So they got to work with us. Maybe it's a new business model, like you said. It sounds like you kind of found a good way around it. Is there one thing that you see coming up for everybody that maybe they got to keep an eye on? One thing that you've got your eye on as a big change that might be coming down the pipeline, or something you're planning to do with Panino's, even just personally?
Right. So actually, my wife and I were just talking about this at lunch today. Because we have, self-serve lunch during the weekday from Tuesday through Saturday. So, we have, our glasses set up and our forks and knives and things. Now, what do we have to do? Do we have to get throwaway silverware or plasticware? The cost of all that stuff, and it's gonna be a lot of disposables being going on here. So I don't know. I'm not comfortable opening up the dining room until I see fit. So I don't know what I'm going to do. If I'm just going to continue these temporary hours for right now, and that's the trouble I'm having. Is like, how are we going to go forward and to work with this, 50% capacity? I don't have a large, huge dining area. So for me, it's 30 people. So I wanted to have 15 people in for lunch. I don't know. And what server is going to want to work to try to make that kind of money?
Yeah. Well, have you been reallocating your staff from like servers to different areas, sanitation and all that?
Right. Counter help. Put them up, help them out on, on busy nights. like Friday, they come and bring all the orders up. They coordinate the people walking in and out of the doors, So we put some to use in different aspects.
Well, have you just kind of accepted, have you tried to figure out different avenues to make up for the lost revenue for dine-in? Or, has it been pretty flatlined as far as where you were before this and afterwards, just with that influx of new customers again? And I am stalling because Lamarcus trying to get in here. I don't know if we can figure it out.
We, it's hard to gauge. Like Tuesday through Thursday, it could be really down, and Sunday it was like really bad. And it's just, the inconsistencies. The loss of catering orders, the loss of people coming to pick up. We do a lot of schools, we have graduation right now. Like, we're missing all that revenue and all that profitability that we would have had. We're just maintaining right now. We're just making sure we can just, stay afloat and get this under control so we can all open up and go back to a normal life. But in the meantime, you're going to see a lot of changes in the industry when it comes to, dine-in. So it's,
well, do you foresee us being able to go back to any kind of semblance of normalcy? Or is there going to be a lot of these changes that we're taking now that's going to last? Is there going to be a shift in consumers' buying habits, I should say? Is it's deciding that they like curbside and carry out even better?
No, people want to get out there. People miss going out. People like to get out and they like to be served. So I don't think that's going to change. Just, doing it safely and making sure that, people know that they're out there, that if something were, if they were to catch it, that there was a treatment for it, I think is what's going to scare people away or have them, I don't, a lot of people are just over this right now. So I don't know what to say. I'm not going to, yeah. There he is.
Sideways.
What's that?
You're sideways, Jabroni.
Hang on.
Now you're upside down. They always go upside down. More.
He's not working. He's not working again.
Is that better?
All right. So really quick for anybody who just joined in, this guy is, just some guy. This is Michael P. Lamarca of Master Pizza in Cleveland, Ohio area. But he's a captain of our U.S. Pizza team. Lenny's on the council. I, of course, I'm the director, or they call the herder of cats. Now, I guess, Lenny, you had some questions that you and Mike had been working on. That's the only reason I brought him in. Otherwise,
right. And I don't think Mike's the question. I said to Mike one day, "What? Okay, so right now we're talking about third-party companies, and like Grubhub, I pay them 15%, right?" And we said, "What is the cost of us having our own drivers, percentage-wise?" Because people are like, "Oh, we get charged 30%," and I'm thinking to myself, I pay 15. Is that 15% that they're charging you extra include the insurance?
Lenny, you're breaking up a little bit, brother.
What's that?
I missed what Lenny said.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me, Mike?
Yeah, it's a little bit. The internet's a little bit bad, but go ahead.
Mike, if people are getting charged 30% on Grubhub, what percentage do you think of having your own drivers? As like you have your own drivers, what does that cost you percentage-wise to justify them charging 15% more than they charge me at 50%?
Okay, it's breaking up real bad, but can you? I think I can answer this question the best I can by hearing what I'm hearing. So, you're asking if having a third-party delivery service that offers 15%, Lenny, that you're paying to 30%. Drivers, is that correct? Can you do a thumbs up or?
That's a yes. That's a yes.
Okay, so we there's many. I mean, we talk about this all the time. I love the fact that we control the whole ordering process from phone call to dropping off the pizza. I think that's very important for us and how we handle our brand and our business. Sorry, this is outside. The cost. If I'm hearing correctly, you're asking what's the cost benefit of having your own drivers. If you're paying, it's what you charge for delivery and how many deliveries you take. It's kind of a pretty intense model. I could help you guys with it if anyone has questions on that. But what we do, an aspect of what we do, and it's cost benefit for us to have delivery, provide insurance, and pay the driver's mileage and all that stuff. So it's figured out. You just have to figure out what's your best. How many deliveries you take. If you're taking 35-50% deliveries, yeah, it's going to be worth it if you charge proper delivery fee.
It definitely sounds like it. I'd like to talk with LaMarca in a minute. I'd like to get him in, maybe just do a concerted show on this, but I'll let you go ahead. I'll let you guys talk for a second.
Michael, so what I'm saying is I pay 15%, and I think that's reasonable, okay, since they're doing all the marketing stuff like that, which I'm going to eliminate it because you and I talked about this with my own website, which is almost done. But
if you look at as marketing cost, go ahead.
My thing is I pay 15 and some people are getting charged 30. Out of that 30%, between the 15 that I pay, don't you think that covers the driver's expense, or is that just blown out of proportion? Do they justify charging? Because they're using their drivers, they're paying all the insurance on them, stuff like that. Or when we do our own, we're doing all that. We're scheduling that person. We're paying the insurance on them on own and stuff like that. That comes with what percentage do you think that costs us as a business? Let's say I pay 15 now with Grubhub. Could I say safely that 10% more is going towards my insurance cost and my uninsured motorist, uninsured driver's cost?
Well, to answer that the best I can, because I'm getting real bad connection, but it all based on what you charge for your delivery fee. So if you're charging $2 for a delivery fee or $2.99, or we charge $3.99, it could be equated. You know what I mean? You just got to run what your model, how big your delivery range is. Like it could be figured out, but it's just a matter of figuring it out. So, where your stores are in Evanston, it's pretty dense, and the other two stores are real dense. So if you charge $3.99 for delivery, you definitely could be a cost plus to have delivery, to offer delivery in house. And to compare to what you're paying based on third-party delivery, there's so many ancillary costs in there that the credit card's handled, the delivery insurance, all that stuff's handled, but also that you're paying for the advertising of that, that's considered advertising. So it's just, you got to figure out what the costs actually are and not guess, so if you could take time, figure out your model and figure out the model properly, it could be cost benefit for sure. The exact percentage that you're talking about, I think, ranges from business to business, company to company. For example, like I said, we found that $3.99 was the target number for us to charge for delivery, for it to be cost beneficial for us to offer delivery in house.
Yeah, I think he touched on it. Every business is going to have their own way of operating and their own cost, but if you're going to use a third-party service, and the show is not about third-party, but if you're going to use a third-party, do your homework, negotiate with them. And if they're making the deliveries for you, then you're going to be paying that price. There's no offense word about it. They're insuring them. They're doing everything. Try to do it on your own. Hire drivers and do it on your own, and then just negotiate a 15% with them. My other store in Park Ridge, we pay 12% because we're not in the city. So it's it's negotiable.
Well, this is good information. Oh my gosh, I quiz you. Curse you.
Look who it is.
Who?
It's Uncle Brian and Lenny.
Creepy Uncle Brian.
Curse you, Frankie.
This is my job.
I love
this
her.
is my job, LaMarca. My gosh. All right, you are muted. I'm kicking you off, LaMarca, because your internet's dragging us down. All right, we love you. Thank you so much. I'm going to be calling you because I want to talk to you a little bit more about that, though. But yeah, I think it's great if you can utilize them, the third parties, for what you need them for, as far as
Yeah, let's get out of
marketing side.
That's another thing. Let's just get out of it. I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah. No, all right. So no, we've gone over. We waited for him, and I totally regret it, 100%. All right. So Lenny, one more thing, just one little positive affirmation for the industry right now, for all your pizza brethren and sistren. Just one thing that you can let them know that everything's going to be all right.
Everything is going to be fine. We don't expect to come back to 100% normalcy anytime soon. So just keep going, do what you got to do. Your customers love you. You just don't know it, and just hang in there and do the best you can.
Well, again, as always, man, it's a great time chatting with you. We're like-minded individuals. I think you got a good head on your shoulders, and I'm really happy that everything opened up well for you again. I am going to be on again tomorrow, Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central. I'm going to be talking with Gail Chernetz, US Beats team member. She's a relatively new member here from Germantown, Tennessee, actually just about an hour from me, but she does in-home pizza parties and has a catering business. And of course, with the stay-at-home order, you couldn't do that. And now that it's been opened up, people are inviting her back. And I'm just wondering, what kind of concerns they have on that. So this would go towards, anybody who has a catering business doing in-home, catering or parties and stuff like that. So tune in tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I do appreciate your time, Lenny. Thank you so much. We went long again, but it's always, I can go all day with you, man. Enjoy hanging out with you. I hope you get some gelato, not your gelato, but Amelia's.
Wait. We created a flavor the other day. It's called salted caramel cheesecake crisp, and it's getting put out there today.
Is it? Oh, nice.
Hi, Mike Russo.
There he is. Yeah, he came in at the end. Hi, Mike. Miss you too, buddy. But I would totally eat some salted caramel cheesecake crisp for sure.
Yeah.
So if you guys are in the Chicagoland area, visit one of the 3 Panino's location. You can find them at Panino's. I guess, what is it? Panino'sPizzeria.com. Yeah, that kind of.
And soon the new website will be up. Yeah, exactly. You can order from all 3 stores. And thanks to my sponsors, Galbani,
yes, thank you very much.
Margarita is one of my sponsors. So.
No, we appreciate it. Definitely Galbani too, as a large sponsor of the US Beats team that allows us to do stuff like this and keep people like Lenny get their beautiful face out there. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, and I'll be touching base with Lenny again. Maybe Gino and Bruno might get on, and we can have a round table with the Panino's group. What do you think about that, Lenny?
Good luck. We can't get every place in, and we're local.
Yeah, that's almost the worst part. So, all right, guys.
One can't do this. One guy can't do that.
All right. Well, thanks again for tuning in, everyone, and sticking around as long as you did. Everybody stay safe and stay sane. Open up safely. Take care of your staff, your family, and your business. We'll see you guys next time.
Have a good one. Thanks, Brian.
You too, Lenny.